Welcome back to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10, episode 122. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and local partner Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. Last week, we talked about the cost benefit analysis, the return on investment, the profit loss, cost benefits, all those different pieces of hackers, of why attackers do what they do. It is a business to them. They think through, how can I invest some money to make more money in return? For them, it happens to be through criminal activities. It's through hacking, it's through ransomware, it's through things that are illegal. But even with all that said, to the bad guys, to these criminal hacking organizations, this is a business, and they want to get a return on their investment. So how is it that they can do these things to get a return on their investment? So today, what I want to talk about, and what I alluded to at the end of our last session, is that there are a number of things that we can do, that you and I can do, that can prevent the easy things from happening. Those low effort, those low cost, high benefit returns. We can take some simple steps to do that. These are all issues that we've talked about on this 10 at 10 session before. It's something that we'll talk about again. We've probably talked about this year, but these are topics that are so important that this is the fundamental thing. If you don't hear anything else I say on 10 at 10, if you don't listen to any other sessions, you need to listen to these sessions talking about the things that you and your organization need to do to stay safe. Today, we're talking about passwords. Passwords are simple, but let me take a step back before we dive into passwords. There are 8 things that we can do to secure our organization. The 8th one on here is pertinent to local governments and rural health organizations. But these items can protect our organizations, can protect ourselves. In particular, we're starting with passwords today. Passwords are extremely important. Passwords are extremely important. Passwords is your probably, for most people watching, most people listening, your primary defense mechanism for your accounts, for your computers, for your networks. Yes, we have firewalls, we have all this great technology, we're doing all these amazing things, but if we're not using strong passwords, then all of those other defenses don't matter. And so let me share a little bit about passwords today. First of all, 8 characters is not enough. For years and years and years, we have said at least 8 characters. It has to be uppercase, lowercase, number, special character, all these random things. And that had been a good way to do it in the past. That is not the case anymore. Why is it not the case? It's because our computers are faster. Our processors are faster. Hackers are able to brute force, meaning try every combination to get to your password faster today than they've ever been able to. There's a new technology called quantum computing, and as that gets developed, it's going to be even harder to have or make it even faster for an attacker to break your password. So we need longer passwords. Actually, the term that we use now, a lot of times you'll hear, is passphrase. That we need a passphrase, meaning something that is significantly longer than 8 characters. I recommend something that may be double the length of 8 characters. I recommend using as long of a password as your system will allow. If it only allows a 12-character password, then you're going to be limited to 12 characters. If it will allow for 16, use it. If it'll use 24, use it. But most importantly, 8 characters is not enough. So let's talk about, how do you come up with a crazy long password? So in my family, My girls went through a Moana phase, and we like Yellowstone. Don't judge me for either. But in both of these, there's some things that if you have watched Moana as many times as my family has watched Moana, then you probably know the song that starts, I'm standing here on the edge of the water. If you've watched Yellowstone, you've probably heard them talk about the train station, taking somebody to the train station, which is a horrible, illegal act, but it's something that plays a role in that show. If you take those two things together, I've been standing at the edge of the water and the train station, then you could come up with a password, something like standing at the edge of the train station. Standing at the edge of this train station is something that I can easily remember because both of those have meaning to me, but they're not related to each other. I put a capital S. Actually, the new guidance is not necessarily to have to use special characters. I went ahead and did that extra layer. But standing on the edge of the train station is something that I can remember without a lot of effort. And I don't know how many characters that is. It's very long. It's actually probably longer than some um, password systems won't allow. So this is a very strong password. And actually, there's a website, how secure is my password? And when I type this password in, it says it's 17 duodecillion years to crack that password. I don't even know what that means, but it means it's a long, long time. So that's what I would encourage. Now, I don't want you to use this password. This password is not safe because I've used this example in multiple presentations before. So you're going to have to come up with your own password. I also don't recommend I've been standing at the edge of the water because that's a popular first line of a popular song. So if you only used it, then that's going to make it a little bit harder or a little bit easier rather for an attacker, even though it's a long password for an attacker to guess. If you used your favorite Michael Jackson song or AC/DC song or um, George Strait or whatever, if you use these popular songs, then um, it's going to be easier for an attacker to guess because they'll use that idea as well. Actually, the older the song, and those examples I gave were pretty old. The older the song, the more likely it's already been in process and being used. Newer songs will be added to the hacker database, so to speak, as soon as they can. Next thing I'll say is that if you're doing these passwords, if you're using these super long passwords, this is a problem. They all have to be unique. We've got to have unique passwords. You have heard me on 10 at 10 talk through it before, why that's the case. We have to use unique passwords. We can't use passwords on our banking software, our banking system, and on Facebook and on our local network and on our computer. We can't do that. That's a security risk. That is a problem. So, how do we do that? I have 200 plus passwords that I have to remember. I can't remember all those passwords. How do we do that? Well, the answer is using a password vault, using a password manager. A password manager is a secure way for you to store passwords. It will allow you to put the passwords in, store it in an encrypted way. You can do it in the cloud, you can do it on your computer, you can use a third party cloud. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But then the only password you have to remember is the password to get into that vault. You don't have to remember 200 passwords. You have to remember one password. And if you don't have the password to get in your vault, which is a problem, then if somebody stole your password vault, it's going to be encrypted in a way that they can't get in it unless they know that password. So it's pretty safe for you to do that. I use 1Password. There's LastPass. There's some built into your operating system. There's a lot of ways to do it, but I strongly encourage that you find a password manager to do that. Next week, we're going to talk about two-factor authentication, why that's so important. I think all of these pieces together can really help to secure your network. I would strongly encourage you to think through these things. Add strong, unique passwords. That is the first step, the most important thing. Next week, we're going to talk about two factor authentication, which is the next most important thing for you to do. All of these pieces together come together and will help you be more secure in cyberspace. I appreciate you joining me today. Um, I hope you found it interesting. If you have questions, certainly let me know, and I'll see you next week back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.